Hello again, juniors and seniors. I brought a little visitor for our lesson today. This is Belle. Can you say hi? Right now she looks more like Beast than she does Belle. She needs a haircut. But this is Belle. She's my baby. Yeah, can you say hi, doll? Yeah, she's clearly unamused by the camera. But that's Belle. She's mostly good. She has her moments. All right, so today, guys, I wanted to get into your new lesson for today. So over the next couple of days, actually probably a couple of weeks, we'll be working on verbs and their correct forms. So today we're going to get started on that. So first and foremost, you need to get your handbook, your grammar composition handbook. We're going to go to, we're going to start on section 10, which is page 56. So right down here, page 56, section 10, and we're going to talk about verbs today. Now, in our past lessons over the past couple of years, we've talked about this, but we always seem to hit it at this time of year. So it's easy to forget because there's always so much stuff going on at this time of the year. So we're getting ready to do other stuff. So hopefully this will be a review, but if it is you going through and relearning some stuff, totally fine. I relearn it every time I teach it. So I see other stuff and I'm like, oh, I could use that or that. So that happens. So, okay, let's talk about it today. So we have four principal parts of verbs. There is the present participle, the past, and the past participle. Now, for the most part, all verbs can come from those four forms of the verbs. When we get into the past and the present and the future and the perfect, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, all of that, they all originate, for the most part, a few exceptions, of course, because this is English, and so if we didn't have exceptions, what fun would it be? But for the most part, they all come from those four principal parts of verbs. So we're going to discuss those a little bit today. So all verbs can be classified also as regular or irregular. What makes them regular or irregular? So what makes them regular is that we are able to change them from one form to another by the following rules. If it is present tense, we can add ing, and when it becomes past tense, we can add ed. If you can't add ed on a word, then it is not regular. It is actually irregular. So here's the nice thing about it. Here in your book on page 58, they gave you a huge list of irregular words and they told you how to fix them. So use page 58. Page 58 is going to be your new BFF, okay? So you definitely want to use that when we're going over these lessons, because if it's a regular or irregular verb, that will determine how you use it in the sentence and if you're able to use it, what form of the verb you're able to use. Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit today. All right. All irregular verbs form the past and past participle in irregular ways, like we just talked about. So you can use like move changes to moved. I moved yesterday, right? And for some of you, that's what you did yesterday. You moved, yay! But I meant like you moved, like on the couch. Anyway, joke, not transferring. Okay. But if you if it's an irregular form, it would be like see, saw, and seen. And don't forget to use a helping verb with seen. Don't just use it by itself or I'll twitch. So both regular and irregular verbs form the present participle by adding ing. So we go from walk to walking, that's present to present participle. It doesn't matter if they're regular or irregular. You add ing and that makes it the present participle of the verb. So that's a pretty regular rule. Sometimes spelling changes before you have to add ing, ed. You guys know that. Tape, we don't use tapes much anymore, but if you, let's use Christmas time, okay, you're taping a box. You change it from T-A-P-E to T-A-P-I-N-G. You drop that E, you don't need it anymore, okay? So sometimes you have to watch the spelling. Again, that's where your irregular verbs can help you, is with spelling as well. If it's a normal verb and you can just add ed or ing, just make sure that if it's ending in a vowel, you're probably going to have to get rid of that vowel for most words. And you can look them up in the dictionary and figure out how to spell them correctly. So, all right. For verbs ending in Y preceded by a consonant, obviously, what do we have to do? And I know you guys all said it, change the Y to an I and then add ED. So for the word cry, before we can say I cried myself to sleep, we have to say CRIED, okay? So deny, spy, supply, all of those things. The Y has to be changed to an I before you can add ED. So sometimes you have to change the vowels at the end of words. So just make sure you watch that carefully. If verbs end in a single consonant, sometimes you have to double the consonants before you add the next word, like conferred, CONFERED. I'm sorry, CONFERRED. You have to add that extra R in there. But not all the words, because then we have the word marvel. And then if you change the word to marveled, it still is MARVELED. You don't have to double that L at the end. So it's the English language. You have to use you can look it up online. And if you don't spell it right, it will spell it for you. So make sure you're being careful about that as you're looking at all the words. And then you come to your big chart. Don't forget about that. Here's something that happens a lot. We confuse the past tense with the past participle. Here's the easiest way not to do that. The past tense does not have a helping verb. The past participle always has to have a helping verb. It always uses helping verbs. So Jason drawn the best sketch? No. Most of the time you can read a sentence like that out loud and realize, ooh, if you're like me, that makes your ears hurt and you're like, no, that's not right. Jason has drawn, or he has drawn the best out of anyone. We have to have that helping verb in there. That's the past participle. If it's just the past, we don't need the helping verb. He drew the best picture. He has drew the best picture. Again, ew, yeah. It makes if you're an English person, it makes you cringe. It literally does. So no, he has drew the best picture. He drew the best picture. Okay, so make sure you remember past participle, you have to have a helping verb. Past tense, no helping verb. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. There are several verbs that are for instance, there are several verbs that are used improperly. For instance, do not use the word attacked. The dog attacked the bird. No, he didn't. He attacked the bird. Brung is not proper English. Busted is not proper English. He busted the can. No, he broke the can, or he burst the can, or he did something besides busted it, because busted is not a proper word. Glum. Unless you're reading a Samuel Clemens novel, you're probably not going to see the word glum too much. Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn use this term pretty often, but for the most part, we don't use the word clum. We've all grown up in civilized society where we use the word climbed. I climbed the tree. I didn't clum it. Okay, so make sure that you know the difference there. Drowned. No. You drowned, or the person drowned. They didn't drowned. Okay. Drug for dragged. Don't use drug. Drug is actually not the proper tense of the word. It's actually not the right form. You dragged something. I dragged the tree into the woods. Or dragged the tree out of the woods. I dragged the presents out of the closet. You didn't drug them. I know that's really hard, but that's not the proper form. So we have to remember it's dragged, not drug. Now, if you're going to drug someone, that means you're literally going to like put drugs in their food or drink. Okay. That's the difference. So you're not drugging the tree. You're not giving the tree drugs. You're dragging. You dragged the tree. I don't think anybody has any problem with that one. I ate my dinner. Again, a Samuel Clemens novel, possibly, but probably not with you guys. Eaten, also, no, you didn't eaten that. I eaten that last week. No, you didn't. You have eaten that, possibly. Growed, another one. Again, some of these are ones that we know pretty well, but some of them you might actually use and you don't even realize it. But yes, growed, no. They've grown. You've grown 2 foot. No, you haven't. You've grown 2 foot. Snuck. This is one actually that we use all the time. I snuck into the building. You sneaked. And I know that sounds so wrong and it sounds weird, but it's actually proper to say sneaked. I sneaked into the building. You didn't snuck. All right. So, I know that one sounds weird, but that one is correct actually. Stoled. I stole that. No, you didn't. You stole it, but you didn't stole it. Okay. Throwed. I throwed that brick so hard through that window. No, you threw it. And of course, one of my personal favorites, thunk. Thunk is the sound that they make in a comic book when something falls on someone's head. It is not a proper word. You thought, you didn't thunk. And again, we don't really use that in our society anymore. Again, if you read a Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens novel, you might see Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn using the word thunk. But for the most part, we don't use it anymore. You guys have grown past that. You know better. So those are some of the incorrect forms of verbs. So make sure you're very careful with those. I know that snuck is probably one of the hardest ones. I mess up on that one quite often. I still use the word snuck because to me it sounds better than sneaked. I sneaked in here and I did this. It just doesn't sound right to me. So I still kind of use that one. So that's one that I always get confused on and I always forget because it doesn't sound correct. But it is correct, so don't forget that one. All right, now there are 3 pairs of verbs that we have trouble with. Sit and set, rise and raise, lie and lay. In order to learn these words correctly, you have to learn the principal parts and the definitions of these words. That's actually where we're going to pick up with next week. Next week, because you guys did some review, and then we'll work on this part next week. So we're going to work on that then. So sit and set, lie and lay, rise and raise. So what is the difference between those? Do we mess those up? Sometimes, yes. So your assignments are on Schoolworks, what you should be doing for today. So it will be on Schoolworks to come watch this video. I'm still working out all the kinks with my YouTube channel. Hopefully I'll be able to drop the link into your Schoolworks assignments, and you can just copy and paste that into your browser so that it's easier for you to find, because I don't have anything on YouTube, so I'm still like super new, and when you look up my name, there's a picture of a dog and it's not me. Just so you guys know, mine is my picture of me at Decade Days, so I'm like all decked out and I have a goofy grin on my face. I just wanted you guys to make sure you knew it was me. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope these videos help. I hope that is a little bit more of an explanation for you. If you need to look back at anything, you can definitely do that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later.